The wind howled across the rooftop of Crestwood High, a prestigious school perched on a hill overlooking the sleepy town of Willow Creek. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows, painting the concrete in hues of orange and gold. For most students, the rooftop was a forbidden sanctuary, a place whispered about in hushed tones, a place where secrets were buried. For 16-year-old Emily Harper, it was where her world ended. Emily was never the type to stand out. With her mousy brown hair, oversized sweaters, and a tendency to shrink into the background, she was an easy target. Her quiet demeanor and lack of social clout made her invisible to the popular crowd, until they needed someone to torment. The ringleader was Vanessa Tate, a senior with a venomous smile and a knack for cruelty. Vanessa's clique Chloe, Mia, and Lauren followed her like loyal henchmen, their laughter a sharp blade that cut through Emily's fragile confidence. It started small, snide comments in the hallways, stolen textbooks, an accidental shove in the cafeteria. But as senior year progressed, the bullying escalated. Vanessa, fueled by some unspoken grudge, made it her mission to break Emily. Notes slipped into her locker with words like loser and nobody scrawled in Sharpie. Her gym clothes mysteriously vanished, replaced with humiliating messages written on her locker. Whispers followed her like a shadow, and the laughter of Vanessa's clique echoed in her ears long after school ended. Emily tried to endure. She told herself it would pass, that graduation was only months away. But the rooftop incident was the final straw. It was a chilly October afternoon when Vanessa lured her there under the pretense of returning a stolen notebook. Emily, desperate for any semblance of peace, followed. The rooftop was empty, save for Vanessa and her friends, their eyes glinting with malice. "You thought you could just exist here, didn't you?" Vanessa sneered, her voice dripping with contempt. "You're nothing, Emily, a nobody, and nobodies don't belong at Crestwood." Before Emily could respond, Chloe grabbed her backpack, tossing it over the edge of the roof. Mia shoved her forward, and Lauren blocked her path back to the door. Panic surged through Emily as she stumbled toward the low railing. She begged, her voice trembling, but her pleas only fueled their laughter. Vanessa stepped closer, her face a mask of cruel delight. "Maybe you should just disappear," she whispered, and with a swift push, Emily's world tilted. She felt the cold air rush past her, saw the ground spiraling closer, and then nothing. When Emily opened her eyes, she wasn't in a hospital bed or a morgue. She was lying in her own bed, the familiar creak of her ceiling fan filling the silence. Sunlight streamed through her window, and the calendar on her desk read September 1st, 6 weeks before her death. Her heart pounded as she touched her face, her arms, her chest. She was alive, whole. But how? The memories of that fateful day on the rooftop were vivid, etched into her mind like a scar. She remembered the betrayal, the pain, the finality of her fall. Yet here she was, given a second chance. A fire ignited within her, one that burned hotter than fear or despair. This time, she wouldn't be a victim. This time, she would make them pay. Emily's first day back at Crestwood was surreal. The hallways buzzed with the same energy, the same cliques forming their predictable patterns. Vanessa strutted through the crowd, her entourage trailing behind, their laughter as sharp as ever. But Emily was different. She no longer shrank from their gazes. Instead, she observed, calculating, her mind already weaving a plan. Revenge, she realized, wasn't about brute force or public confrontation. Vanessa and her clique thrived on power, on the ability to manipulate and control. To dismantle them, Emily needed to be smarter, subtler. She needed to unravel their world from the inside out. Her first step was to gather information. In her previous life, Emily had been too timid to notice the undercurrents of Crestwood's social hierarchy. Now, she paid attention. She lingered in the library, eavesdropping on conversations. She watched from the edges of the cafeteria, noting who Vanessa trusted, who she dismissed, and who harbored quiet resentment. She learned that Chloe, Vanessa's right-hand girl, was secretly jealous of her leader's spotlight. Mia, the group's social media queen, was obsessed with her online image, while Lauren, the quiet one, followed Vanessa out of fear rather than loyalty. Emily also discovered Vanessa's weaknesses. The queen bee was desperate to maintain her perfect image, her grades, her popularity, her acceptance to an Ivy League college. Any threat to that image would hit her where it hurt most. Armed with this knowledge, Emily began to plant seeds. Her first target was Chloe. Emily knew Chloe craved attention, always angling for Vanessa's approval while secretly resenting her. During a group project in English class, Emily was paired with Chloe. She played the role of the meek, helpful partner, subtly feeding Chloe's ego. "You're so good at this," Emily said one day, her voice earnest. "I bet you could totally run the spring talent show if you wanted. You'd be way better than Vanessa was last year." Chloe's eyes lit up, but she quickly masked her interest. "Vanessa's fine. She's, like, the best at everything." Emily nodded, feigning agreement, but the seed was planted. Over the next few weeks, she dropped similar comments, always careful to make them seem accidental. She praised Chloe's ideas in front of others, subtly positioning her as a rival to Vanessa. The tension between the two grew, though Vanessa didn't yet realize why. Next, Emily turned her attention to Mia. She noticed Mia's obsession with her Instagram following, spending hours curating her feed. Emily created a fake account, posing as an anonymous admirer who commented on Mia's posts with glowing praise. Slowly, she introduced subtle critiques, suggesting Mia could outshine Vanessa if she stepped out of her shadow. Mia, desperate for validation, began posting more daring content, drawing attention away from Vanessa's carefully curated image. Lauren was trickier. She was loyal to Vanessa out of fear, always the first to follow orders. Emily approached her cautiously, offering small acts of kindness, a shared umbrella during a rainstorm, a compliment on her artwork in class. Lauren, unused to genuine attention, began to soften. Emily didn't push too hard, knowing trust would take time. While sowing discord among Vanessa's clique, Emily worked on herself. She knew she couldn't remain the invisible girl if she wanted to pull this off. She started small: a new haircut, clothes that fit her better, a confident posture. She joined the debate club, where her sharp mind and quiet intensity earned her respect. She made allies, not friends, exactly, but people who saw her differently now. People who could vouch for her when the time came. Her biggest weapon, however, was information. Emily had always been good with computers, a skill she'd hidden in her past life. Now, she used it to her advantage. She hacked into the school's grading system, not to change grades but to confirm what she suspected. Vanessa was cheating her way through AP Calculus. She also found incriminating messages on Vanessa's public social media, screenshots of Vanessa mocking teachers and bragging about her schemes. Emily saved everything, biding her time. By November, the cracks in Vanessa's empire were visible. Chloe was openly challenging Vanessa's decisions, snapping at her during cheer practice. Mia's social media posts were stealing Vanessa's thunder, earning her a warning from the principal about inappropriate content. Lauren, meanwhile, was pulling away, spending less time with the group and more time with Emily's debate club friends. Vanessa, sensing her control slipping, lashed out. She doubled down on her cruelty, targeting Emily once again. But this time, Emily was ready. When Vanessa accidentally spilled juice on her in the cafeteria, Emily didn't flinch. Instead, she smiled, a calm, unnerving smile that made Vanessa falter. "What's your problem, freak?" Vanessa snapped, but her voice lacked its usual bite. Emily leaned in, her voice low. "You should be careful, Vanessa. Things have a way of coming back to bite you." The threat was vague, but it hit its mark. Vanessa's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, Emily saw a flicker of uncertainty. The final phase of Emily's plan came in December, during the winter talent show. A Crestwood tradition Vanessa had dominated for years. Emily knew this was her chance to expose Vanessa's true nature. She enlisted Chloe's help, appealing to her ambition. "I heard Vanessa's planning to lip-sync her performance." Emily lied, planting the idea during a study session. "Wouldn't it be cool if you did something original? You'd totally steal the show." Chloe, eager to outshine Vanessa, spent weeks preparing a dance routine. Meanwhile, Emily worked behind the scenes. She hacked into the school's AV system, ensuring Vanessa's performance would be interrupted by a slideshow of her incriminating messages, carefully edited to avoid implicating Emily. She also tipped off the school counselor about Vanessa's cheating, providing anonymous evidence that would trigger an investigation. On the night of the talent show, the auditorium was packed. Vanessa took the stage, her confidence unshaken despite the tension in her clique. Halfway through her song, the music cut out. and the screen behind her lit up with her own words, messages mocking classmates, teachers, even her own friends. The audience gasped, then fell silent as the reality sank in. Vanessa froze, her face pale. Chloe, waiting in the wings, seized the moment, launching into her dance routine as the crowd's attention shifted. Mia, humiliated by her inclusion in the messages, stormed out. Lauren, sitting in the audience, looked at Emily with something like gratitude. The fallout was swift. Vanessa was suspended pending an investigation into her cheating. Her college applications were jeopardized, and her reputation was in tatters. Chloe took over as the new queen bee, but her reign was shaky, built on the ashes of Vanessa's downfall. Mia's social media following plummeted, and Lauren quietly distanced herself from the group, finding new friends in the art club. Emily watched it all unfold from the sidelines, her heart a strange mix of satisfaction and emptiness. She had her revenge, but the scars of her past life remained. She knew she couldn't undo the pain of her death, but she could ensure no one else suffered as she had. In the weeks that followed, Emily became a quiet force at Crestwood. She started an anonymous support group for bullied students, sharing resources and strategies to fight back. She never spoke of her own experience, but those who knew her sensed a strength that hadn't been there before. As graduation approached, Emily stood on the rooftop once more, not as a victim, but as a survivor. The wind carried the echoes of her past, but she no longer feared them. She had rewritten her story, and this time, she was the one in control.